Hello, Carolina Glady here, and I want to talk to you today about something that I saw really clearly quite recently, in the last few days actually, on such a deep level. It has to do with being disconnected with deep sense of unconditional self-worth or worthiness, and how it relates to self-sabotage, or something that we call self-sabotage. And I actually want to offer a different look on the self-sabotage, not as something that we do to prevent ourselves from too much success or too much happiness, but rather as like an inner cry from a part of us that is demanding authenticity. So let me unpack it, maybe by using an example. So let's say that a person is born with a perfect sense of worthiness. The baby knows that they deserve to be fed, that they are worthy of being cuddled and comforted and changed and so on. And as we grow up, all of us, even if we have a very good childhood, in one way or another, we will have a wound of forgetting that we are worthy no matter what. So let's call it the worthiness wound. And then, it's painful. It's, of course, it's all unconscious and it's painful, and there is a mechanism to compensate for it. So all of us develop strategies to prove that we are worthy, to prove it to ourselves and to the world. And we do it in many different ways. So an example could be a person who's becoming extra helpful and sweet and pleasing and giving, forgetting her own needs and giving to other people. Another example would be someone who is strong, yes, and controlling. Another one would be who's always funny and entertaining and keeping things light. Another example would be someone who's super successful and kind of showing off how worthy they are because they've achieved so much. So let's take the last example. So someone is disconnected from a feeling of unconditional self-worth. And they have the kind of subconscious belief that they need to prove their worth by being very successful. And they try, they have some success here and some success there. And they also have a sense that they are ready for a greater success, but it's not happening. Yes. And they have the idea that they are self-sabotaging. Yes. And they don't know why. So maybe they are not showing up for a meeting that could be potentially a game changer, or maybe they are procrastinating or making wrong choices, teaming up with wrong people, and so on. And they think, okay, I'm self-sabotaging. I don't know why. I need to get rid of this self-saboteur so I can be more successful. And can you see the trick here? The desire to be successful is fueled by sense of being not worthy and needing to prove that they are worthy by being extra successful. I hope it's making sense to you guys. It is fueled, it is powered, it is driven by illusion. I'm not worthy unconditionally, so I need to prove my worth. And I believe that this self-sabotaging, in inverted commas, is actually not what it looks like, but it's a cry from a part of us that really yearns to be worthy unconditionally. A part of us that knows, that actually, that remembers still maybe, that we are worthy no matter what, that we have unconditional worth. And that's why this part of us is not allowing us actually to to build all these illusions of being worthy because of our success. It's this longing to, and sometimes it can really sabotage in ways that are quite dramatic. So can, for instance, lead us to situations in which we really fail really badly, you know? But it's not because our strategies for success are not good enough. It is because there is something in us that wants to experience being worthy regardless of level of success. It's as if there was part of us that wanted to experience total failure, and still experience sense of worthiness. Because that's the only way from this outlook to experience unconditional self-worth. And you know, there is a way out of this maze of complicated inner points of view that are kind of creating inner conflict. And it is not by becoming better and becoming successful, or it is not by just failing all the time, because the failing will not actually prove anything if we are operating still from the stand that I am worthy only when I'm successful. It is by just seeing the illusionary nature of it. That's what I believe. It's by looking into all the internal energies that are creating the sense of unworthiness, unless all the drivers that are pushing us to prove that we are worthy, to look at them lovingly and to let them dissolve. And there are various ways to do it. There are different paths. But the point in my eyes is coming back and really experiencing the innate worthiness, not on an intellectual level, but really sensing it in our entire system, that we are unconditionally worthy. And then we don't need to prove anymore. And then we don't need to fail anymore either, to prove ourselves that we don't need to prove. Like the proving is ended because we know. And then we are free to express ourselves and create. And then very often the success is just easier, and it's an extension of our innate gifts, and it's just a result of our self-expression. But to wrap it up, the sense of unconditional self-worth, I think, is the most precious gift we can give to ourselves. And it starts by seeing the ways in which we think we need to prove our worthiness. I hope it's making sense. That's the first time I actually articulated it. It's kind of very clear in my mind, but I don't really think in words so much. It's more kind of pictures and just felt sense. So I try to put it into words for the first time today. But if it's not making any sense, please let me know. And I will be so happy to clarify anything. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Lots of love from a very cold Cyprus. Bye bye.